He didn't just switch an outfit, he flipped a conversation. One night, Lil Baby steps on stage in a tank, shorts, and a pink belt, lifting the hem just enough to flash brand new thigh ink. The clip travels fast. Reactions pile up even faster. Some call it a clean rebrand. Others insist there's more behind the curtain. What actually changed, and who's steering the story?
I hear that you say that you don't have any tattoos at all.
Nope. That was really my only reason, like, from being younger, like, I don't want no tattoo.
What makes the moment sticky isn't only the footage. It's the clash between a long-stated image policy and a sudden, unmistakable symbol you can read from across the arena. That tension invites theories, invites decoding, and invites people to project their own beliefs about power into a single frame. Attention is the currency here, and the price is that you don't control how everyone spends it. The only way out is forward. Clarify the story through the next move. Let's start with the spark. The footage is simple: a charged crowd, phones in the air, and Baby pulling up his shorts to reveal fresh lettering. 90s on one thigh, Baby on the other. That single visual dominates timelines, not a music drop, not a business deal. Ink and where it sits. The camera doesn't need context when the message is that legible. It loops well, screenshots cleanly, and compresses the performance into a shareable calling card. In an era where most people meet artists through a phone screen first, a clear symbol beats a complicated explanation every time. For fans, the surprise isn't tattoos in general, it's him getting them. For years, he talked about walking into any room, boardroom, or studio without being prematurely judged on appearance. Staying uninked was part of that plan. So seeing unmistakable lettering in such a visible spot, that reads like a pivot you can see from the back row. The reveal became the headline. And once a headline sticks, it drags the rest of the narrative behind it. Even people who haven't kept up with the music know there's a new visual language attached to his name. The clip also did something subtle. It turned the stage into a press conference without words. No caption necessary, no paragraph explaining the choice. Just a look, a lift of fabric, and a moment that tells the room, this is the era now. But that new era collided with an old promise. Online, the moment ran straight into history. His earlier stance, no ink, keep doors open, was more than a preference. It became part of his professional strategy. It signaled restraint in a culture that loves excess. Now, the era of 90s Baby is front and center, with an additional vertical piece down the lower leg. The reaction split. Some praised the look, others thought the placement was the message. Many began decoding timing, captions, and on-stage reveals like clues. In the social era, small choices are treated like footnotes. Visible choices become thesis statements. The pivot invites practical questions too. Did business priorities shift? Is this about identity? About anchoring himself to a cohort and a cultural moment? Is it marketing? An emblem you can spot in the nosebleeds? Or something more personal, like marking a chapter change after a long grind? We don't need definitive answers to see the strategy at work. Tattoos function like permanent merch. They carry meaning, they travel in photos, and they turn into talking points fans can rally around. And here's the thing, when an artist changes a long-held rule, audiences feel it in their gut. Even if they can't cite the interview where he said he'd never do it, they remember the energy of that boundary. Breaking it signals momentum. It says, the playbook just updated. The internet didn't read that signal in isolation, though.
Baby is absolutely one of the best human beings in the planet. We're at a party, everyone's drunk. You know, it's a 13-hour party. People drink a lot of alcohol.
Months before the ink reveal, a different set of images kept resurfacing. Snapshots from a 2023 Hamptons all-white celebration hosted by Michael Rubin. In one photo, Lil Baby is in a playful hug sandwich with Rubin and an NBA player. Another shows a friendly embrace from behind. In a crowded party, these are the kind of split-second frames that usually sync back into the feed. Instead, they became a reference point, a shorthand the internet reaches for when new visuals appear. A kind of pop culture watermark that reappears whenever his name trends.
Like, you know, and you see things like the white party be there, and then they have Lil Baby like in a sandwich. They're hugging him from the front and the back and stuff.
Memes arrived. Commentary followed. And as the tattoos reignited attention, the old photos snapped back into circulation. Depending on what you already believe about power and celebrity, those frames looked like harmless fun. or like signals of something else. Same pictures, different readings. The algorithm has a long memory. When a storyline needs fuel, it pulls from the archive and resurfaces whatever fits. That's why images from one summer can feel present tense a year later. They're not just memories, they're modules. The internet drags and drops into new conversations. The recurring question wasn't simply what happened, it was what does this say? About influence, about proximity, about who's in whose orbit. Those aren't questions an image can answer, but images keep us asking them. Eventually, the person in the frame addressed it directly.
Bro, it's 100 people at the party. We in the middle of 100 people. It's nothing weird we could be doing in a party.
Right.
With all these people watching us. Literally, when that picture came out, I literally made Mike Rubin go to his security camera at his house, go to the footage and get the whole time.
When he finally addressed it, he didn't laugh it off. He said the jokes bothered him, not because a photo can change a night, but because a photo can change a narrative. He even asked for security footage to show the full context, then decided not to post it. That restraint says a lot. Once the rumor engine starts, proof rarely satisfies everyone. Sometimes adding more clips just gives the speculation new angles to remix, creating a never-ending request for more context. He also described his relationship with Rubin as positive and influential, more mentorship than management, more guidance than control. He emphasized boundaries too, noting that even during a lighthearted moment, he was aware of how a single frame could be read outside the room. That's media literacy in motion, understanding that optics travel farther than intent. It's the balance most modern stars try to strike. Protect the brand without strangling the spontaneity that makes you compelling in the first place. And tucked inside his comments was a truth about celebrity in 2025. Private feelings and public frames don't move on the same timeline. He can make peace with a moment the internet is still litigating. He can know a hug was a joke while the discourse still reads it as a thesis. That mismatch is the cost of playing at this level. So, who is the host shaping these rooms, and why does his name keep showing up? Rubin isn't a label boss or a manager. He's a builder from an adjacent world, sports, commerce, licensing, whose network pulls in athletes, artists, and industry leaders. That mix creates serious gravitational pull. Access looks like power because in most rooms, it is. Being invited into cross-industry spaces can mean earlier information, warmer introductions, and faster trust when opportunities appear. In an attention economy, proximity to decision makers is its own asset class. This is where the conversation splits. One lens sees networking and mentorship, rooms where big ideas and bigger deals take shape. Another lens sees coordination and control. The photos don't prove either interpretation, they just sit there, collecting captions. The meaning comes from whoever tells the story first. In practice, proximity can accelerate careers without dictating them. The challenge is making sure the public reads influence as partnership, not puppetry. For artists, the safest lane is transparency about boundaries and consistent decision-making that aligns with their own brand values. And that returns us to optics. Sometimes a helpful relationship can still look complicated from the outside. When the public can't access the substance of the friendship, it judges the snapshots of it. That's not always fair, but it's predictable. Another clip made the optics war even louder. Around the same time, an older video of another star doing bunny hops on a tennis court resurfaced. Laughter in the background, teasing about counting reps. The artist later said it was a lost bet penalty. Lighthearted, not deeper. Many accepted that. Others focused on the optics. A wealth imbalance on display, a dynamic that looked unbalanced to some viewers. What the participants experienced as comedy, a portion of the audience interpreted as commentary. This is the tension. Context from the people involved versus the way a frame reads online. Some saw friends clowning, others saw racially charged optics in a power hierarchy. Two interpretations, one clip. It underscores how easy it is for a playful moment to turn into a symbol once it leaves the original room. Platforms flatten nuance. A 9-second loop can't carry the hour of context that surrounds it. And when symbols collide with existing beliefs, they fuse into a story that feels bigger than the footage. For creators at this level, the lesson is practical. Audit the optics before the camera catches them. Ask what the moment will mean to people who don't know the inside joke. Not because you owe the audience every explanation, but because you don't want a joke to become your brand. which is exactly why online theories multiply. Here's the line we won't cross. There's no verified evidence that private parties are running secret tests or anything beyond celebration and networking. What exists are unverified online theories, claims that certain awkward optics are the cost of access, or that participation buys career momentum. These points circulate without documentation and thrive in the gaps between what cameras catch and what they miss. They're sticky because they offer simple answers to complicated dynamics. So we keep it clean. Confirmed. There was a party, there were hugs, there was laughter, photos exist, a performance clip with new thigh tattoos exists. Lil Baby previously said he avoided ink for strategic reasons. He later got tattoos. He said the jokes bothered him. He asked for footage and chose not to post. He calls the relationship positive. Claimed, unverified, the photos encode hidden meaning, the new ink signals backstage obligations, access requires staged embarrassment, these remain speculation, not fact. Noise, personal attacks and attempts to reduce complex people to a meme. They spike, then fade. Rumors are efficient because they're simple. Reality is slower because it's complicated. And the longer a rumor circulates without new facts, the more it relies on repetition rather than revelation. The healthy response is disciplined storytelling. Define what you stand for. Repeat that. When ambiguity appears, be specific about values and vague about gossip. It's not evasion, it's protecting the work from becoming a comment section. If the theories are unverified, what actually explains the shift? There's a simpler reading that fits the facts. Artists rebrand. New silhouettes, new palettes, new ink, new stage moments. Sometimes it's personal. Sometimes it's timing ahead of a project cycle. Sometimes it's creative restlessness. That need to do something bold and live with the reaction. The thigh lettering functions like a banner for a new phase. Instantly legible, easy to photograph, hard to ignore. It's a portable icon, and portable icons earn their keep in a feed-first world. Fans don't just listen to songs anymore, they subscribe to eras. From a brand perspective, it's assertive. He didn't wait for paparazzi to set the tone, he took the stage and owned the image. That's control. And yes, control has limits online. Audiences co-author narratives now, but choosing a look that can be defended in daylight and repeated with confidence often outlasts a weekend of snark. Repetition turns a surprise into a signature. Signatures outlive a meme. The question isn't whether people talk, it's whether the talk funnels attention back to the music. If the music cuts through, the ink becomes lore. If it doesn't, the timeline will pretend it was always about the photos. That's the wager. It's also the work. Either way, the crowd will render the verdict in real time, streams, tickets, brand calls, and how loud the arena gets when the lights drop. The smartest move now is simple. Double down on the art, keep the visuals clean, and treat every public moment like it could be the thumbnail for the era. No secret handshakes required to tell this story. What we know is straightforward. A high-profile artist who once avoided tattoos decided to get them. A set of party photos lingered. Online theories tried to weld those things together. He pushed back. His friend defended him. The internet kept being the internet. So is this a rebrand? Most likely. Is it proof of anything beyond optics, access, and timing? Could the visuals have been cleaner? Sure. But the real test isn't in a frame or a belt, it's in what happens when the lights go down and the set list starts. If the songs land, this whole moment graduates from controversy to mythology. And the next time he lifts the hem just a little, the reaction won't be confusion, it'll be recognition. That's the mark of the era. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to not miss any celebrity gossip. Thanks for watching.